Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Subscriber Loadout. In my last installment, I got a lot of good feedback and you guys left some really interesting loadouts. So how this works is whatever your go-to setup is for your favorite game mode, leave it in the comments section and I'll simply give it my opinion or basically just review it. Now please, if you can, try to be as detailed as possible. Make sure to tell me what your favorite primary and secondary is, include gadgets and attachments, camos and field upgrade kit as well, but most importantly, make sure to tell me which game mode or map you play with this particular setup in. Now in this video I'll be using Nikita Sokolov's loadout. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. Their setup involves ACW-R as my primary, with the iron sights laser light combo, R2 silencer, potato grip, and for secondary it's the M1911 with the ghost ring, tri-beam laser, R2 silencer, and blue sky camo on both weapons. As for gadgets, it's the defib and RGO impact grenades, and finally the compact medic field upgrade kit. There's a few interesting choices here, a couple I wouldn't personally use, but whatever, I have to roll with it. Unfortunately, I don't have really any attachments for the 1911, so it's basically running completely stock. I also didn't have the sky blue camo, so I just substituted it for the splinter naval camo. Now with the Combat Medic field upgrade, if you have this equipped, that means you obviously want to heal and revive your team as much as possible, but still have some kind of offensive capabilities to push forwards and get around the battlefield. First place I thought was, yep, I need to try this in Operation Locker. We all know that place is just a death zone of grenades and airburst spam, so it seemed like a good choice for this particular loadout. Now this part here, I'm providing healing for my teammates as well as leading the push up the hallway, and luckily I have a fast rate of fire weapon. The ACW-R really complements this playstyle, as like I said, you have that fast rate of fire of 880 and super quick tactical and empty reload, which in my opinion is a paramount feature you need in your primary weapon if you want to play like this. Also, if you're a squad leader or a member of a squad taking orders and you manage to max out all the field upgrades, try to lay down as many health packs as possible at various points where your team is being held down. So obviously the choke points around the hallways and whatnot. This part here is a good example of how you should be helping your team. If you have the Combat Medic field upgrade and you're in a complete death zone like Operation Locker. For those who don't know, the perks you get for each upgrade of this field kit, level 1 increases maximum deployed medic bags by 1. So in other words, you can place down 2 medic bags with no cooldown and both bags will stay in place. Level 2 increases sprint speed by 10%, so pretty obvious what this does. Level 3 is the real beauty of this field kit. What it does is the amount of time you need to rub your paddles together to revive a teammate to full HP is cut in half. You only need to count 2 seconds before you're able to revive a fallen teammate to full HP, and luckily there's a new feature in CTE where the defibs will now make a sound when you're at maximum charge. This upgrade also gives the revived player 30 HP from 20 for the instant revives without charging, so that means he could survive at least one bullet before dying instantly after a revive, which is frustrating as hell when this happens. Now level 4 is also fairly useful. If you're in a vehicle, it will slowly heal nearby soldiers. This works well if you're the driver in the attack boat, since the people in the gunner's seat are out in the open and prone to being shot at. So now let's talk about the attachments. The laser light combo on the ACW-R I really hate it. I know some people like the tactical light, as sometimes it can really throw off the enemy from seeing you clearly. But for me, most of the time I really hate using the laser sight and tactical light attachments. I like to be as stealthy as possible and minimize the chances of the enemy knowing my position, especially in Operation Locker with all the smoke and whatnot. The laser beams right through it and gives the other team a clear view of your position, which will lead to about 50 bullets from the players on the enemy team coming your way. The only times I like to use a laser sight is with a PDW or a bullpup designed weapon, and even then I'm always turning it off and on depending on what's going on around me. If I do have it turned on, it'll only be when I'm hip firing and running and gunning as much as possible. Now the iron sights in my opinion aren't the best attachment. Luckily the iron sights for the ACW-R weren't too bad. I only had very small issues with tracking targets, but most of the time I managed to still win a lot of gunfights. As for the sidearm, the M1911 is a great choice because it has that high damage model of 36.6 maximum, but it falls off pretty heavily within 40 meters down to 15.4. Now don't get me wrong, it's a great weapon, but if you want a pistol with a big damage mole, I would probably go for the Compact 45 because it carries more ammo per mag and has a slightly faster rate of fire, but it does have a tad more recoil. If you don't prefer the higher damage mole sidearms, the P226 and the M9 are really good options. They carry plenty of rounds per mag and have the 27 maximum and 12.1 minimum damage at 55 meters, but overall my choice of sidearms will either be the Desert Eagle for the more close range maps and the 44 Magnum for the big open field maps. So overall I think the setup is pretty effective, but I would change a few things to make it more of a viable option. Maybe add the Coyote red dot sight and just go with a laser sight so you can turn it off and on depending on the situation. The Combat Medic field upgrade is really good for maps like Operation Locker and Metro. You can really rack up a lot of points with the healing and reviving, but at the same time you can still be in the front lines and be really effective in close quarters. Now guys, please leave your favourite loadouts in the comments section. Remember to be as detailed as possible and try to include what maps or game modes you play with this setup. I want to try and replicate your playstyle the best as I can. But anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.